We have to do something different, right? How is that coming across? Probably not that well, huh? I'm just doing this until we... Oh, hey, we're live anyways. What's up, everybody? We're live on Periscope, DLive, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and of course, TalkStream Live, I'm assuming, and JLP Live. Nice. What's up, everybody? It is Friday, November 27th, 2020. Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving all around the world, even if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving. You should. Globalism. It is Black Friday, right? That means you only patron businesses that are small businesses that don't support your destruction or the destruction of your country, right? Or the destruction of Christians and white people and men. And gays by supporting the gayness. Sick. So it is 9:02 a.m. here in Los Angeles. I'm going to be touching on Trump cries fraud and doesn't stop. Very nice. I love it. And they are getting mad about it. They can't stand him just keeping on telling the truth without fear or shame or doubt. And did you hear about this? Penguin Random House staffers literally cried over the publication or publishing of a new Jordan Peterson book, Jordan B. Peterson book. He's that nice guy who's liberal from Canada and tells you to clean your room. And they're crying because he won't use the terms Z and Zer that Canada is trying to force him to use, you know, supporting people in their delusions of transgender and gender non-binary and all that madness. Z and Zer is like one of the LGBTQIA new pronouns that they want to force people to use, right? And in Canada, they're caving because Canada is run by a bunch of cowards. Basically, that guy who's in charge of Canada is Barack Obama in whiteface. And I have a little bit of information on that actor who helped to bail out the great Kyle John Wick Jack Bauer Rittenhouse. His name is Rick Schroder, or Ricky Schroder. General Flynn was pardoned. Very nice. He was pardoned a couple of days ago by President Trump, our real great President Trump. And he thanks God, his wife, and family members, and Sidney Powell. He has an interesting way of describing Sidney Powell. She's called Lady Justice herself by by Diana West. Nice. Diana West she was a guest on the Jacinda Peterson show before. And Jonathan Turley, who's a liberal professor guy. You may have seen him on Fox News, right? He tries to act like he's fair. Well, he's somewhat fair. He has an interesting piece on what happened with the General Flynn case. If you're like me, you didn't really pay attention and you don't really know. You just know that the guy was railroaded because he's a faithful nationalist patriot, loves America and supports President Trump, and never, even after being fired by President Trump, never turned on President Trump, unlike so many rats who did. This guy's a Christian, by the way. At least he talks like one. And I will be getting to your calls, 888-775-3773. Thank you to Jesse Lee Peterson, hosting the Hake Report on DLive. Very nice. And I will read your super chats as well on DLive and Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/The Hake Report, DLive.tv/The Hake Report. All right, guys. So let's get on with the show. Nice.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys, we're gonna be talking about some real stuff. Hey, Joel Friday's Googling the pictures that I'm mentioning because I didn't give him anything. Very nice. And you can call in 888-775-3773. Very nice.
Oh, it's the Hake Report. the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how are you all doing? I am fine. Isn't it a shame? Earlier this week, I think it might have been this week, Kyle, John Wick, Jack Bauer, Rittenhouse. He was seen in a photograph maybe over the weekend or so with that Black Rifle Coffee Company t-shirt, because Black Rifle Coffee Company, we all thought they supported the Second Amendment, which is for all Americans, not just veterans, but also veterans too. Very important, because they're trying to say, oh, veterans have, not they, but liberal media are trying to say, veterans have PTSD. We need to steal their guns from them. They don't have the right to carry guns because they have PTSD. They're mentally ill. Which is an evil ploy to take away the people's guns who are the most capable and some of the most loyal people to America. But this guy, too, is another loyal to America young man and wore a Black Rifle Coffee Company t-shirt. And Elijah Schaffer, being the masterful marketer that he is, shared the picture and said he drinks the best coffee in the world, and gave a, as you know, I've told this story before, gave a promo code for a discount code for Black Rifle Coffee Company, because they sponsor him on, they sponsor not Kyle, but they sponsor Elijah Schaffer of Slightly Offensive, of Blaze Media. But Kyle Rittenhouse is a very controversial figure because there's a whole bunch of dummies, dumb liberals who hate the Second Amendment and want to accuse this guy of being a white supremacist with zero evidence and a murderer, despite all evidence showing that he acted in pure self-defense and was actually quite measured in his thing. Kyle looks tough here, says Joel Friday. Yeah, he's looking better. He was, he was kind of like a fat kid of a single mother, but he's coming into his own, I think, and hope. And honestly, I didn't see any indication that he did anything wrong over in Kenosha, Wisconsin, not far from home, where he has worked, I believe. Just an upstanding young man. 17 years old, right to carry a gun. And thank God he did, right? Scum of the earth tried to take the gun from him. And the scum of the earth to this day are calling him a murderer. It's sick. It's disgusting. So I'm going to talk about an actor who agrees with me, Rick Schroder, who I had not really heard of before. But, before I get to calls, hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. I did. Hung out with family a little bit. That was fun. Nice to see everybody. Revolver has been talking about how President Trump is saying that this election was a fraud. And of course it was. I was talking with somebody yesterday about how it's not just fraud, and it is fraud too, but it's also, they've been pushing for all the idiots to vote, all the lazy, trifling, corrupt Democrat idiots to vote, Democrat voter type idiots to vote. And yes, I do call them idiots. These are people who wouldn't put forth the effort that it normally takes to vote in many cases. Because somebody who either leaves work early or whatever, who is a working person, or after work goes to a polling place, the Bible says not to use fool or idiot. I'm telling. I don't know if it says not to use idiot. It does say, if you say you fool, but it also uses the word fool to describe people. Foolish people. Well, anyway, I'm using the biblical term because anybody who hates God is an idiot, right? The fool says there is no God, and that's what all the Democrats say. Or that's what they mean. Some of them give lip service to believing that there is a God. It's shameful. But these people, there's so many people, oh, we need to make it just an app where you can just click a button and then you voted. There's all kinds of madness. And then if you are not for that, you're called voter suppression. Yeah, voter suppression. Oh, these long lines. And some people waited like hours in line to vote. Maybe not this time, but the previous time they did. In 2018, maybe some in 2020. But it seems like most people didn't really have long lines this time. But it is pretty disgusting that they're pushing for 16-year-olds to vote. 16? And yet they're pushing for people to be more immature, older. They're pushing for 26-year-olds, and they had it. 26-year-olds under their parents' health insurance don't have to pay for their own health insurance. They get it under their parents' health insurance. 26-year-olds. They're pushing for people to stay home, go to college, be a wild, immature college degenerate, and don't work. It's just sick. So yeah, there's a whole lot of blind, brainwashed fools voting for Democrats, mostly. It's pretty gross. And, Trump doesn't stop fighting. That's so nice. Some people say trust the plan. And I watched a video clip of the independent journalist, center-left guy, generally supports Trump a little bit. Mike Cernovich, he says, there is no plan. And you know what? I like it that way. Because President Trump takes it as it comes and fights. It's not some crazy plan that you hash out and it hatches perfectly. No. You're not God. Isn't there like a Jewish proverb that says, men make plans and God laughs? Or something like that. The best laid plans go astray. All kinds of people say that, and it's true. It's ridiculous. So I have to. Yes, free Kyle, says Penny Rue with a diamond. Free Kyle. Noah's Ark, Kansas with a diamond as well. Thank you. Mobetta Stand Up gave a Ninja Guinea, very generous, and says, what is it exactly that these gays do other than political subversion? What exactly do they do? That's not for this show. This is a family-friendly show, children's-friendly show. But thank you for the question, Mobetta Stand Up. They do political subversion, and they do immoral things. He also says, Black lives need to demand the political extradition of this Yosef Lifsh to face justice for a crime against the United States of America. I'm told that guy, did he do a hit and run? Car accident or something like that? Killed one young black boy and injured another, something like that, in the early 90s. I looked into it after his super chat. And the blacks retaliated, killed a ultra-Orthodox Jewish person, and then they rioted and tore apart the Crown Heights place. Crown Heights riots in 1991, in August, I think. And Al Sharpton was in on that stuff. It's ridiculous. But, the blacks way overreacted. But this guy, I don't know if he's ever faced charges for, I don't know if it was a hit and run or what. This Yosef Lifsh guy. Interesting. I don't think the Black Lives should be doing anything, though. Mobetta. Black Lives Matter needs to sit down and be quiet and repent, right? But I have to get to this. Jordan B. Peterson. Are you familiar with him? He's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show back in, I want to say, December of 2016. I think it was when he was on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. And he talked about how we need free speech, right? Free speech is important. So if you don't have free speech, then what do some of the people who are getting their free speech stamped out have left? You just marginalize them until what else do they have left? The true marginalized people are the whites and Christians who are getting marginalized by the mainstream media, by the establishment social media, to the point that they're not even welcome on websites. They're not welcome on PayPal. They're not welcome by these major banks like Chase. And these are just regular Trump supporters, many of these people. Christians. Some of them are not even white, but most of them are white. They're getting no platformed by put on these match lists. There's something called a match list by MasterCard or something like that. Basically lumped in with big time money fraudster people, financial fraud people, just for having true opinions about the truth, which is not welcome in the mainstream. And so Penguin Random House staff confronted this publisher, Penguin Random House leadership, about this new Jordan B. Peterson book. Because Jordan B. Peterson, I mean, he tried in his own way, right, to stand for be responsible. 12 Rules for Life, he put out this book. And clean your room. And because these people who, most of these SJW types is who he's mainly targeting, but also just young men in general too, need to check themselves rather than try to cry foul on the whole world. They really do. You know, some people say, oh, he's not genuine, or he has problems, or he's an addict, or whatever. I see him as just this guy who's trying to stand for what's right. He's kind of weak. He's liberal. He was conflicted about whether he's Canadian, thank God. But if he were American, he says that he would have been conflicted over whether he would have voted for Trump or Hillary. And I think he was taking this medicine stuff, antidepressant medicine and all kinds of stuff. And he got hooked on some crazy stuff and supposedly almost died. Had to go to Russia or somewhere to get treated. Well, he's been also working on this new book called Beyond Order, 12 More Rules for Life. Wow, that's interesting. So Vice, which is a far-left enemy of America outlet establishment now, used to be a kind of independent, originally founded by same guy who founded Proud Boys, by the way. But they held this town hall and staff cried with tears. And yes, some of them are LGBTQIA, in case you were wondering, and expressed dismay with the publishing giant's decision to publish this book. It's by Manisha Krishnan out of Toronto, Canada, published November 24th. Beyond Order, 12 More Rules for Life. Several, they say several, but it usually means like, several doesn't mean four. Several means like, doesn't several traditionally mean 6 or 7 or 8 or 9? That's what several usually means to me. Several, they say, Penguin Random House. Yeah, 7 plus, Joel thought. But I think they mean a few, but I could be wrong. But the squeaky wheel gets the grease and the coverage. Random House Canada employees confronted management about the company's decision to publish a new book by controversial Canadian psychologist Jordan Peterson. It's not really controversial, except for the fact that any hint even close to the truth is controversial to them. New book published by this guy at an emotional town hall. Dozens more have filed anonymous complaints, supposedly, according to the 4 workers who spoke to Vice World News. Maybe it was several then, because only 4 workers spoke to Vice World News. And were any of them named? Don't think so. Anonymous sources always have an agenda, sometimes not known to the reporter, FYI. That's a principle about anonymous sources brought to you by Bill O'Reilly. I like that boomer. On Monday, Penguin Random House Canada, Canada's largest book publisher and a subsidiary of Penguin Random House, announced it will be publishing Beyond Order 12 More Rules for Life by Jordan B. Peterson, to be released March 2021 by Portfolio in the US and Penguin Press in the UK, both part of that whole Penguin Random House so-called empire. The employees did not want to be named due to concerns over their employment. Said the company held a town hall about the book on Monday, during which executives defended the decision to publish Peterson, while employees cited their concerns about platforming someone who is popular in far-right circles. Ooh. Listen to this quote. It's hilarious. And I don't know how this person is working at a book publisher, because he should be able to express himself better than this, or she. He is an icon of hate speech and transphobia, and the fact that he's an icon of white supremacy, regardless of the content of his book. I'm not proud to work for a company that publishes him, said a junior employee who's a member of the LGBTQ community who attended the town hall, told Vice World News. What? An icon of hate speech, which, okay, they're Canadian. They don't believe in truth, right? Or free speech. And an icon of transphobia for not supporting the delusion, right? And an icon of white supremacy. How is this guy an icon of white supremacy? He might have said something like, white privilege doesn't exist, but I don't even know if he said that, because I'm not that familiar with him, but I'm not familiar with him saying anything like that. But maybe he did. Another employee said that people were crying in the meeting about how Jordan Peterson has affected their lives. Such drama queens, right? One coworker discussed how Peterson had radicalized their father, his or her father. And another talked about how publishing the book will negatively affect his or her so-called non-binary friend. Weirdos, huh? The company since June has been doing all these anti-racist and allyship things. Ally means you're allies with evil, right? You're allied with evil is what allies mean, allyship. You're allies with Black Lives Matter, which are the scum of the earth. They hate whites. They hate each other. You're allies with the LGBTQIA shamelessness, which is the destruction of themselves and everyone else around them. That's what allies are. And then them publishing Peterson's book completely goes against this. Yeah, like Jordan B. Peterson is racist or anything other than a liberal. Wasn't he I heard, but I don't know, but I heard that he used to be a communist. But he didn't come back as so-called conservative as that Horowitz guy, David Horowitz, I think is his name. The old school guy who used to be communist. Jewish guy. Front Page Mag. I read you a little bit from his magazine yesterday. A third employee said that the company's, and this is a ridiculous thing, many companies have this, a diversity and inclusion committee received at least 70 anonymous messages about Peterson's book. Only a couple are in favor of the decision to publish it. Fine. These people are nuts. Very oppressive. So they are publishing it. This guy, Jordan B. Peterson, by the way, is 58 years old. Is he still a professor at University of Toronto? I don't know. Professor of psychology. I don't know. I think of him as being actually fairly politically correct, but he's considered anti-political correctness crusader. He just draws the line at the transgender stuff, basically, and the delusional lack of responsibility type people. But these people that are crying, they're pushing around the business, and it is so common for employees to be pushing around these weak businesses, the squeaky wheel employees. They're disgusting. They are pushing around Spotify. Spotify is that music streaming service, right? They're trying to get into podcasting. And so they made this $100 million deal or something like that with that Joe Rogan guy who hosts a podcast. He's supposed to be a comedian, but I think he's a little bit better at podcast hosting. He interviews people for hours at a time, right? Smokes pot, kind of degenerate, liberal. He thinks Obama was great. He liked Clinton, I think. A liberal guy. He's pretty good at color commentary or whatever, or commentary with the UFC thing, right? This guy, because he's involved in athletics, he thinks that transgender, male to female transgenders shouldn't be competing against female non-transgenders because the male to female transgenders are stronger, faster. They're still men. And that's considered hateful. So these ridiculous Spotify employees are protesting that. And then Google. It was one Google employee was heard saying, reportedly, I remember hearing rumor of it, was heard saying, we can't have another 2016 happen again. And there's all kinds of rogue Twitter employees who they even got me. I made the mistake of replying to some nutty black radical female, older lady. And I pointed out that black on white murder is, the raw numbers are twice as high, more than twice as high, as the white on black murder. And then they said, you are endorsing violence or something like that, promoting violence. And they suspended me until I deleted the tweet. And they suspended me for like a long time. I didn't want to delete the tweet for a while. But it's ridiculous. That has they're not sane or reasonable people. And they're infecting schools. If a liberal teacher is not seen as sufficiently pro-gay or pro-Black Lives Matter or whatever, they get a student lynch mob at them, going after them. Ridiculous. And that's like high school. High schoolers aren't supposed to be interested in politics. Maybe they are, I don't know. But they're not mature enough to be interested in politics, at least not in a sane way. So silly. So Jordan Peterson made liberals cry. Ridiculous. He's like the softest, nicest guy. Anyway, I had to share that with you. It's ridiculous. Tears. Oh, he radicalized my father. It's ridiculous. They're the radicals. That's communism right there. Pure evil. Choppy audio. Bad audio, press 1. No, bad audio, press 2. Let me hear. Hello. Oh, hold up. Press 1? No, bad audio, press 2. I think it's fine. Let me hear. Is it better? Is the audio better? Do you know anything about it? Joel doesn't know. It's better now? Hake beta audio, a little better. Better. Good afternoon. Sounds good now. Audio okay for me. Press 1 if it's good, 2 if it's bad, 3 if it was bad, but now it's better. Thank you, guys. Anyway, what a mess. Don't know what happened. Sometimes this happens to me. I call it discrimination. Joel is going to make me cry. Joel radicalized my father. Thank you, guys. I'm seeing a lot of 3s. Appreciate the support. Thank you for the feedback, the heads ups. Let me get to Earl in Michigan. He's been on hold for some time. He wants to talk about the previous comments from a caller from perhaps yesterday. Let's check this out. Let me mute my computer. Earl, how are you doing?
Hola, buenos dias.
Hey.
Hey, James Hake. Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving.
I did. How about you?
It's okay. I'm alive. And every day to me is Thanksgiving.
Okay.
But,
cool.
Yesterday, you talked to Joe from Phoenix about the performance he farmers' plight, black farmers.
Plight.
That's been going on since 1970. Were you born in 1970?
Nope, I was born in 81.
So that's just been readdressed in 2020. They hadn't resolved it since.
No, they're just complainers. They're just complainers is all it is, Earl.
No, this is facts.
No.
Something that the life hasn't taught you because you're just a young little whippersnapper that wasn't there, don't know anything.
Yeah, but neither do you
want
guys.
To comment on it.
You guys don't know anything either.
So
You ASSUME.
You're too stupid to learn and think you know something.
No, I know stuff.
No,
because
you
I
think
see how
you know
you guys.
something.
I see how you guys lie. Hold on.
You promote crap that you don't know about as if you do.
Uh-huh.
And when somebody tells you you're wrong, who's been there and so forth, but you want to...
You were a farmer?
Huh?
You were a farmer?
No, I wasn't a...
Did you discriminate against the black farmers? Were you in the Department of Agriculture? Hello? Earl dropped off. I think Earl just dropped off. But we all know how, Earl, I don't hear you. You went mute.
Okay. Yeah.
What'd you do?
Okay, my fault.
You pressed the mute button?
I must have hit the mute button.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a farmer to know about it.
I know,
what
but
went on back then.
Listen. The point is, look at how the media lies today, and look at how the blacks lie today
Don't
about
give
stuff.
me all this lying crap.
They do lie.
You listen to lies every day about your white wing media.
Maybe
so.
so.
Don't speak to me about who lies.
Maybe so, but we're talking about blacks lying
Maybe
and media.
So. You do.
We're talking about blacks lying and mainstream media lying about racism existing
You
today. I don't believe anything that they say about the history.
Blacks lying?
Yes.
Do you think whites don't lie?
Yeah, they lie. But we're talking about blacks.
Crazy.
We're talking about black
You're
farmers.
Crazy.
We're talking about.
You got your racist, stupid.
I'm crazy
ideology.
for thinking whites lie.
Yeah, that whites don't lie.
I said whites lie.
You say as if. So what's your point?
Because whites aren't the ones crying discrimination and racism all the time. It's blacks that are doing that right now.
They don't have to.
They don't have to. They could. They could if they wanted to.
They was the one discriminating.
No, not necessarily
so why
true.
They call it discriminating?
Not based on what you think.
And then you calling discrimination just now because of what the powers that be did to your station and made you conform to it.
Oh, you're talking about my,
don't talk about me,
my audio getting
about
choppy?
Blacks and discrimination. When it affects you,
Earl,
you cry about it too.
Hey, Earl, there's good discrimination and there's evil discrimination.
There ain't no good discrimination.
Yes, there is.
And nothing.
Yes, there is.
Don't give me that mess.
Yes, there is. There is good discrimination.
There's a discrimination to make you that limited your freedom of speech. Is that good?
No,
discrimination?
No, it's not.
Just like racial discrimination, just because somebody is born of a different race is not good discrimination.
No, that doesn't exist.
Oh, shut up! That's what I'm talking about. You just that stupid and ignorant.
Well, you're the one buying into it when you don't know the whole story. You're the one just making assumptions about. Hold on, Earl, hang on. You're the one. You're being very immature. There are people who may discriminate, right? They may discriminate, and they may have a good reason to discriminate, or they may not have a good reason to discriminate. But you guys assume that it's racial discrimination when you have no clue what's in the heart of these people. You have zero clue.
You don't have to know the heart of. Do you know the heart of a murderer?
You're assuming their intentions.
Do you know what's in the heart of a murderer?
You're the one crying.
When somebody murders somebody, what's in their heart? Stupid.
I'm going to put you on hold if you don't be quiet. You're the one crying racial discrimination. It's not racial discrimination, necessarily. It's discrimination based on other things, but you just see, oh, this race gets more of this way, so it must be racial discrimination. Blind.
You dismiss
Blind.
racial discrimination like it doesn't exist and never did exist.
Because you don't know it existed. You don't know these people's hearts. You just admitted you don't know their hearts.
You don't have to know their hearts. That's what I'm
Yes, you
saying,
do.
stupid.
Yes, you do have to know their hearts to say, oh, this is based on nothing but their skin color. You have no clue what you're talking about. You're a liar, and you're buying the lies. You should be ashamed of
I can't
yourself.
argue with a fool like you.
You should be ashamed of yourself, Earl.
You have no point.
Earl, you should be ashamed of yourself.
And when people block out folks...
Earl, you should be ashamed of yourself pretending you know what's... Earl, you should be ashamed of yourself pretending you know what's in people's hearts.
Don't give me that people heart argument.
Yes, it is. That's all it is. You're saying racial discrimination. That means it's based on race. And you don't know that it's based on race.
If that argument was true...
Earl, you're saying it's based on race.
Talk, idiot.
No. You're saying that it's based on race, but you don't know that it's just based on race. You're just assuming that these people are telling the truth when they have lied to us. Even to this day, they're lying to us.
I'm based on their actions.
You don't know it's based on their actions. You're making assumptions.
You don't have to know, or you don't have to hear.
But you don't know their actions.
When somebody says you can't come in because we don't want any blacks in here, that's based on race.
So what? That's not what happened with the farmers.
No, that makes you a liar.
That's not what happened with the farmers. And it's not based on their race. It's based on... Hold on, Earl. It's based on other things attached to their race.
It's based on race when you get down to it.
No, it's not. That's false.
When they make laws and rules
false, Earl.
Earl. When they make laws and rules
Earl! That's totally lie. That's a total lie. It's not based on race when it comes down to it. It's based on the fact that blacks have a tribal mindset and they get real mad at whites really easily. And there's all kinds of suspicions going on, and that's what it's partly based on. There's all kinds of different reasons.
Don't give me this justification.
It
People
is.
Said it.
You're the one. Hold on, Earl.
Where have you been?
You're the one who
you
said...
young little punk, you don't know anything.
You don't know anything. You're the one saying it's on race when it comes down to it, when you have no clue what you're talking about.
Discrimination comes in many fashions.
Right. And there are fair reasons...
Institutions can habitually discriminate without them saying it and knowing what's in their heart.
And you don't know that it's based on race. You just assumed that's because you hate white people.
No.
You're brainwashed. You're brainwashed.
You can't defend your argument.
You're brainwashed.
So you run down and say it has to be hating white folks.
Yeah, you do hate white people. You're assuming the worst intentions of the white people.
No, I'm
You're saying, it's based on race.
That you don't want to recognize. But
you're the one who doesn't want to recognize that there are many reasons to discriminate, and there are fair reasons and there are unfair reasons. Have you ever heard, Earl? Have you ever heard of no shirt, no shoes, no service?
Yeah,
that's discrimination. That's discrimination.
Well, a lot of things is discrimination. If you like red more than black, that's discrimination. Life is full of discrimination. We're not talking about stupid words like playing on discrimination and so forth.
I know, but that's all of that.
We're talking about certain types of discrimination that folks can't help. That they what they are just like you talked about discrimination of your freedom of speech.
We can't help that we're white.
About specific type of discrimination.
We can't help that we're white, but we can't help that we're white, but just because we're white and we stand on something we have the rightful freedom to do, we're called racist by people that you listen to. You're a sucker.
And by the way,
yeah,
I like to talk about hot computer smell. With her backstabbing, low-life, hypocritical self.
Wow.
Who wants to ban me from talking and so forth.
I don't think that's hot computer smell.
That is hot computer smell.
I don't think so.
Now you ask her.
No, she says...
Now she stays in the shadows.
She says, I'm suffering from Earl fatigue. 10 calls in 1 week on average.
She says, ban Earl. Now, is that explicit enough for you?
I don't know if that's true because I haven't seen it.
Of course you don't know anything that's true. When somebody tells you that no, it's true, because you don't know it, then it's supposed to be irrelevant.
It is irrelevant. Who cares?
Yeah, she stays in the shadows, backstabs with her current acting self. And
she's a nice woman.
Disagrees with me.
She's a decent woman.
Let her come on and challenge me, huh?
She's a decent woman.
Disagrees with something I say. Let her have the courage to
it's not
don't
about
stay in the shadows and be a coward.
Earl,
go ahead.
You're being silly because it's not about disagreeing with what you say. It's because you're so ridiculous.
I don't care what. Well, a lot of things that you say I think is ridiculous and off the wall and made up.
And so are you like
you think it's ridiculous?
Hey Earl, you want me banned too? Do you not?
No, I didn't.
You celebrated.
I ever said I wanted you banned.
Did you celebrate along with Joe from Phoenix? Is Joe from Phoenix wrong for celebrating when Jesse Peterson and Hake get discriminated against by the establishment social media outlets?
I don't know if that's an accurate.
It's completely accurate.
Of Joe.
Yes, it is. Do you support?
I mean, that he celebrated. I don't celebrate. I never did.
No, but you believe in hate speech. You're a sucker.
No, you just go off the wall and talk about.
Yeah, you call me white. You call me white wing racist all the time, just for telling the basic truth. Not true. You don't even know me. There you go, Earl.
Your racist rant is true.
There you go, trying to act like you know my heart. There you go, trying to know. You're pretending that you know what's in my heart. Typical black. Typical black.
Your words tell us what's in your heart.
I know, but you don't have any comprehension of words.
But that makes you a liar just then.
You don't know what you're talking about.
I've asked you.
Nothing I said was racist.
I said you hated just because you disagree. I talk about whites, some things they did, and you talk about blacks, some things they did. And I said, that doesn't mean you hate them. You said, I might hate blacks. You said it.
Anyway, I got to go, Earl. Nice talking with you.
And your president is whining and crying.
It's your president. That's your president, Earl.
Because he's losing.
Earl. Are you aware that's your president?
You can call him anything you want to, but...
Are you aware that's your president, Earl? Answer the question. Is it your president?
He's a whiner. He's thin-skinned.
No, you're the one whining.
He cannot stand to lose. His family said he can't.
Hey, Earl.
They were taught that the worst thing in life is to lose.
Yeah, you shouldn't lose. Especially if you're standing on what's right.
In fact,
your president
about facing the law.
Your president is not thin-skinned.
No wonder he's scared.
I got to run, Earl. Nice talking with you.
Adios, amigos.
Adios.
You racist.
Typical joke of a black. Very typical. Am I right? Jib Jab gave a super chat on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. Says, bonus deers. Huh? And by the way, Hot Computer Smell had said, I'm suffering from Earl fatigue a couple days ago. 10 calls in 1 week on average. Clovera says, hey, James, I've been watching The Bachelorette show and thought James should apply for The Bachelor. 25 to 30 beautiful girls looking for, quote, unquote, love with you. LO, what you think? I think not, but thank you. King Alpha Nerd says, I know I've said this before, but talking about a broken record is like talking to a broken 8-track. People like Earl are stuck in 1677. Someone get them a DeLorean or TARDIS 2 to come back to 2020. Blacks are not oppressed today, just mental slaves to lies. And in 1970, same thing. You gave an oppressed black person $1 million in a new house, King Alpha Nerd says, and they still cry racism. Plus, you are far too old to be offended by comments from Hot Computer Smell or anyone, Earl. Come on, man. As Joe Biden might say. the former vice president under Barack Obama, wannabe president. Let me get to Ernest, a first-time caller in San Antonio, Texas. He wants to talk about Kyle, John Wick, Jack Bauer, Rittenhouse. Ernest, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well, man. How you doing?
Fine, too. Thank you.
Okay. That Earl dude, man. So I'm a two-time veteran, 2 honorable discharges out of the Navy and the Army.
All right.
10 years total. And I'm extremely pro Second Amendment, First Amendment, all the amendments.
Nice.
But
How about the 19th? You don't have to answer. I don't want to throw you off track.
But I'm a little bit darker than Jacinda Peterson, right?
All right.
And I'm a network and systems engineer. I work for the DOD. So how could there be any, racism doesn't exist? I mean, look at Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Michelle Obama. What about Ben Carson? I can go down the list. So it amazes me how stuck our black people are, stuck.
Yeah.
And as far as Kyle Rittenhouse, we had the same scenario here in Austin where the Uber driver, the guy, ran at the car with his with his AK.
Right.
And the guy in the car, I think he was a veteran at the time, or he's a active duty sergeant in the Army, and he was making money, and the guy ran up on his car with a rifle, so he had to take him out.
Right.
I mean, it's stand your ground law. Your car is your house in Texas.
Was the man pointing his rifle at him?
Yeah, he had the rifle he didn't have it at the low ready. He was pointing it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was pointing it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's the one where it was a white boyfriend of the black girl who was wheelchair bound.
In the wheelchair, yeah.
Crazy story.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been in court because they let the guy go.
Oh, wow.
The guy that killed the other guy.
Yeah.
They let him go.
Okay. Interesting.
Or what? Not even a few hours after.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't think that and what's crazy too is that the black girl with the wheelchair and her boyfriend, the white boyfriend who supported Black Lives Matter, they had no business being out there. It's all of these riots and protests.
Wheelchair.
Yeah, that, and then on top of that, they don't really even have a valid complaint to be protesting about. This whole Black Lives Matter thing is all drama over nothing. Yeah,
over nothing. You're right. You're definitely right, man. And I recently lost my family because they were trying to dictate and run my house, telling me because my sister, she's deploying to Poland. I have a twin sister. She's deploying soon. Yeah. And it's Thanksgiving and everything. They did Thanksgiving early and was like, can my nephew come live with me? And I'm like, no.
Good for you. Got to protect your house.
I mean? Bro, I'm like, no, I don't want that. I want to be comfortable in my own house. I got my own 2 boys and my wife.
Right on.
Nah, bro.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to protect yourself and your house. Just like we have to start protecting the country.
Right.
Same thing.
If you walking around, you can walk around with a rifle in Texas, as long as you're on a public, sidewalk or a street. But anybody that owns a rifle or a gun, period, knows that you can't be running up on people with a gun.
Right. Yeah.
Come on, man. It's stupid.
Yeah. I think it might have been unfortunate, I don't know. I don't know what was in that guy's mind when he was approaching that Uber driver.
Yeah, you don't approach anybody with a gun or a rifle. And it's out too. You can clearly see it.
Yeah.
You're a threat now.
Yep. Wow. Yeah, and Kyle Rittenhouse, I think his case is stronger than that man's because those guys were right up on him.
They were running at him.
Yeah, they were grabbing at his gun. And one of them pointed a gun at his head, and he got his arm, part of his bicep blown off or hit.
Man.
And he survived. The one with the gun survived, but the guy with the skateboard, he was hit Kyle with the skateboard, tried to grab at the gun, and it was pointed right at his torso. So Kyle fired at him, and what else is he supposed to do? That's like a physical threat. And then the other guy was not caught on camera. It was kind of caught on camera, but it was very distant. But eyewitness accounts say that guy was grabbing at his gun too, and he was seen on camera saying, "Shoot me, N-word. Shoot me, N-word."
Oh man, dude.
So
I'm
ridiculous.
surprised Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm surprised he ain't blow that whole block down.
Yeah, he was quite
He got
disciplined.
33 rounds in there. Yeah, he got 33 rounds.
Yeah.
Like, I would have blew that whole place up, bro.
He only hit the people that were a direct and immediate threat on him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Good for him, man. That's why I called him
man.
John Wick and Jack Bauer, because it was amazing seeing him work. He was just
I'm surprised he lived through it, man.
Yeah. So to me, he had the right to be there. He was defending businesses. We have a Second Amendment. We can carry guns. And Antifa is evil. They're violent. He should be carrying a gun.
Yeah, he was helping board up the businesses and getting the graffiti off and all of that. I saw the whole thing, man. So
yep.
Yeah, it's bull crap.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, it really is. So in Texas, he would have gotten off, huh? I'm surprised at Kenosha, Wisconsin. Who would have thought that Kenosha, Wisconsin? Although I think of it as being, I guess, white, but it is so like surrendering to evil. I never would have imagined that a small town like Kenosha, Wisconsin. I'd heard of Kenosha.
What happened to that lawyer? The lawyer and his wife that was in their house and they broke through the gate. I think that was in Ohio.
Oh yeah. I don't remember if it was Ohio or Missouri or Minnesota, St. Louis maybe.
I think it was Missouri.
St. Louis.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to that guy and his wife, but
I'm not sure either.
I mean, man, dude, like all this crap. Like, yeah, man, I didn't get any Thanksgiving calls from the family or anything. It felt so good. Because I don't care.
Right.
Like, you're not paying my bills. You're not paying my mortgage.
Yeah. That's interesting, man.
Yeah.
Freeloaders.
Yeah, man. Right. How you going to tell me who can live in my house?
Yeah.
And then my mom was like, you only got 2 boys over there. I was like, what?
That's wild.
You know what? I don't have to see you or talk to you ever again in my life.
Yeah.
And my twin sister too, and that's my twin.
Wow. Such a shame. But hey, people trip. And right now, people are really tripping. That's another reason not to be out there in the streets, actually, because people.
Yeah, protest. I don't believe in going out there with signs and stuff like that. Bro.
People are
know that if you,
crazy.
Yeah.
They'll commit murder over nothing. It's nuts.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's good to hear from you, Ernest.
Y'all too, man. Y'all take care. I love what y'all doing, and y'all be safe out there, man.
All right. Appreciate it. Same to you. San Antonio.
All righty, bro.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Take care.
All right.
Hot Computer Smell says, spoiler alert, I've still had enough of Earl. Read it and weep, Earl. That's what she says in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. Thank you, Hot Computer Smell. People want Maze and Earl and some others banned. I don't know if I blame them, but we should be patient, right? Let me get to Killian in Boston, Massachusetts. He wants to touch on the Kyle Rittenhouse thing as well. Killian, how are you?
I'm doing well, Hake. How are you? How was Thanksgiving?
It was nice, thank you. Am I pronouncing it right, Killian?
Yep, yeah, perfectly.
Nice.
I just wanted to say real quick, Earl and Maze, they should do like a competing show. I mean, they obviously have time.
I know. That's interesting. Maybe so.
Maybe they should do Jesse's business program, You can get them all set up.
I don't know.
But, one thing I wanted to share with Earl is when I was going to college, I had this Constitution law class, and the professor, he said something real interesting on the first day. He said, is discrimination bad? And, I was in Massachusetts, so everyone was like, yeah, it's bad. And he's like, no, it's not bad. You discriminate between red lights and green lights.
Yep.
You discriminate between honeybees and wasps. So,
yeah,
discrimination has its place. I mean, all it is noticing patterns.
Right.
And if you go through life without noticing patterns, Are you going to walk up and pet a golden retriever, or are you going to walk up and pet a coyote?
Right. Yeah, they're pushing people to integrate and all that stuff just so that they can breed suspicion and make accusations.
I mean, it's simply just gaslighting, to be honest. It's the propaganda tactic. And then when you call them out on it, they play dumb and they're like, "Oh no, it's real."
Right.
But
it's so true.
I just wanted to follow up on that last call I had with you about a month ago.
Okay.
I was down in Florida visiting my dad, and you guys were talking about the Indians and whatnot, and I told you about the Sultrians that came over from Europe.
Yes.
Did you ever look into that?
I looked into it that same day a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Solutrians, something like that.
But I saw a funny reply. Someone, because yesterday Thanksgiving, it gets all the Indians all pissed off.
The victim-minded ones, yeah. Right.
And they said that the Europeans need to apologize for coming over and killing them all with their disease and everything. And the funniest reply that I saw, someone said they should have wore their masks.
Interesting.
But with the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, it kind of ties into what I was saying about Earl, where you need to notice patterns and coincidences. And I wanted to ask you, what does the 3 guys that got shot in Kenosha that night, and the 2 owners of the Black Rifle Coffee Company, and Jesse's biblical question, what do they all have in common?
I don't know.
Well, it's
I think I might know.
It's a 4-letter word that starts with J.
Okay. Interesting. So they are, huh? Interesting. I was not aware of that. Black Rifle Coffee Company. Oh, you think that those are the primary enemies of America? I mean, of Christians?
Well, I mean, it's all in the Bible, really.
That's what my first guess was. I was half joking.
No, I honestly thought Jesse's question this week was a troll trap. I mean, I haven't been able to watch every minute of.
You know what? It's interesting. I don't think anybody has even said it, including, well, somebody said it in church, right? But other than, including Robert from Kansas, who frequently calls those people out. He called out the 3 false gods or something like that of like Mammon and Molech and this other one that I don't remember the name of that has to do with lust and stuff.
I don't want to go all full fash on you, but I mean, it's a simple fact of history that, a lot of Christian European nations and the Catholic Church itself have been subverted by a lot of these people. I mean, I often ask people, how come he doesn't wear the Pope hat? How come he wears a little round hat?
I don't know. I hadn't thought of that.
Seriously.
Okay. All right. Whatever, man.
They want to destabilize. If you want to destroy people, the first thing you do is destroy their religion.
Yeah. I mean, there's no question that Christianity has become a weak, false version of itself amongst so many Christians. For it? I mean, you have to blame the people who are suckers as well as the people who are the so-called leaders, the people who are leading the people who are leading the subversion. Wouldn't not be effective if the people who are following it stopped and thought.
But if you look back 70 to 80 years ago, the people who weren't suckers, who actually called them out on it, those are the most demonized people today on earth.
Yeah, but were they perfect in how they did it? I mean, you have to be perfect.
Perfect.
No, yes, you are. Yes, there are people who are perfect. We're supposed to be perfect. Saying nobody's perfect is part of...
Some of the followers of the ideologies from the 1930s believe that they were perfect.
Maybe so, but were they perfect is my question. And I don't think that they were.
Well, look at the results.
Yeah, I don't think they were, right? Because good has to be perfect in order to overcome evil, because otherwise it's just going to be able to be pulled into evil, which is, I think, what happened.
You can't let perfect be the enemy of good.
Perfect is the only good.
No, there's still good without perfection.
I think you're repeating a subverted version of religion, man.
I guess. Well, I'm still on the journey of truth and knowledge. So
yeah, we have to.
At least I like to keep my my eyes open to everything and be aware of the world around me. Be in the world and not of it. Right?
Are you aware of yourself too?
Yes.
Good. Right on, man. I appreciate it.
Right.
Interesting information, man. Good to hear from you again, Killian. What's that?
Yeah. Great talking to you.
You as well. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. That was interesting. Oh man, I meant to get to Mark in San Diego. He wanted to defend Jordan Peterson. But quickly, before I get back to calls, I'll get to Mary next, and Art, and then Jonathan, and maybe Mark if you have time to call back, man. And people are saying, Edwin Kelly says, the caller is right. I don't know. But anyway, I got to take a quick break. I will be back in a couple of minutes here, guys, for the rest of hour 2. It's 10:02 a.m. here. So hang tight, and I'll be right back for the rest of hour 2. And we are back. We are back, guys. Malkuth X says, Hake, please reply. Why do you speak freely when it comes to black, but watch your mouth when it comes to Jews? I don't really know the Jew stuff that much. I really don't know that stuff that much. I'm learning more. Anyway, let me... Before I get to, oh, man. Okay, so I'm going to get to General Flynn. He was pardoned. I'm going to read to you a little bit from Jonathan Turley. Jonathan Turley, who is a liberal, like one of those liberal college professor guys who's on Fox News. Was generally right about, like, the Russia thing being silly, the Russian collusion thing being ridiculous. He has an interesting article about... Michael Flynn, General Michael Flynn, the former NSA director who was fired by President Trump. And there was a crazy case against him from this ridiculous liberal black judge. General Flynn released a personal statement thanking God, thanking his wife and family members, the guardian angel of American justice, too, Sidney Powell, the guardian angel of American justice, he calls her. Every honest liberal says that he was targeted and railroaded from that journalist, liberal journalist, Michael Tracy, liberal independent journalist. He's a liberal guy. I think he's like a Bernie supporter. But he's generally more honest than the mainstream or even like the other generally sleazy reporters. And that Jonathan Turley guy, I will be reading a little bit about it, some interesting information about how it went down, how this so-called case against Michael Flynn went down. But first, I want to talk about this Jordan Peterson thing a little bit with Mary from San Antonio, Texas. Mary, it's good to hear from you.
Well, good to see you. Looking good as always, Hake.
Appreciate it.
Yes, he was in the news quite a bit, a year, 2 years ago, and they interviewed him. He seemed a little conservative in a way, but the man, I'm sorry, he was gone loony. I mean, he went and got therapy, and he was on drugs, and I don't fault anybody. I mean, if you need help, you need to go get help. But I do believe that a lot of, not just whites now, but probably blacks, who have mental issues, that are breakdowns and all that, there is help for you. But I think they always stick to that, and they say, oh, I need help, and I'm the drugs and the therapy. I mean, when you're that lost and out of it, I don't have much, I don't have much credence in what you say or write, because you could be on drugs and that could be what you're saying, how you're feeling. Mm-hmm. It's all about psychotherapy. And so I don't know about what condition he's in now. Supposedly he's free of them. But there are always going to be those type of people that have a handicap, and that is a handicap.
Right.
That they might need, instead of facing it like really true men or people who believe that God and yourself and your mind and your soul can help you through the horrible pain you're in or whatever condition you're in. It's just, to me, it's like COVID. Everybody's scared with their masks on everywhere, including my family, who calls me a hater and a killer because I don't wear my mask everywhere. I go in my yard. It's disgusting.
It's silly.
So sad.
People are beside themselves.
That's fear. I have fear, but it's not about COVID and wearing a mask.
Right.
And the thing is, I have fear that this country's going to hell, and we're going to be in the worst place. But about Jordan Peterson, baby, I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and he is an intellect, an educated intellect.
Right.
And you have to worry about what they tell you. The other thing I have to bring in real quick is, guess what? Our hero. She used to be my hero, and called her, because she was so righteous, and she was from New York. And originally, I think she was a Democrat, but then she went very conservative, one of the blue dogs, and then she went very conservative right. And, of course, the First and Second Amendment, and she loves the country. But guess what's on the headline? That she was touting that she's glad that Trump lost, and she's glad that Biden won. And they have a big old fat headline, and I was just going to read it to you, and I couldn't believe it. I almost fell over.
Where are you seeing it?
Okay, and I'm not sure if it's true. It says, I'm glad he lost, quote, unquote, and Coulter tells the crowd second term. On 11/15, second term of Trump would have killed us, unquote. And I don't even believe, I'm looking at her face. I don't know if they were interviewed her, but let me see. Well, maybe that was in January of 19 when she was hating on Trump. But anyway, that's what it says in the headline. You can't believe everything you see and hear online.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm seeing this report in Salon.com, which is a far-left outlet, and they're sharing an article actually by Raw Story, which is a radical homosexual outlet. And she says, a second term of Trump would have killed us. I'm glad he lost, which he hasn't lost yet. It's like
that's
he
true.
didn't. Oh. She says it's like he didn't know he was president. And that came out November 15th, like you said. I don't know.
I don't know.
I think she's sometimes a little petty and nagging of a
she's
woman.
Like a child.
Yeah.
But she can afford to. She's a big fat millionaire and she lots of books, written.
Well, not fat though. She's like the skinniest woman I've ever seen. But anyway, yeah.
Oh well, we're all entitled, and I admired her because she was pro-America and Second and First Amendment. But I don't know.
Right.
I mean, all rich people from New York. I mean, that alone tells you a lot about them.
I mean, it seems like she has unreasonable expectations of Trump versus the world inside of that world. And I don't know if she has reason. I don't think that she was being quite reasonable with that.
Well, I kind of agreed with her on some points. He was not the best. He's not perfect. And some people call him like the God and the perfection, and he's the greatest thing. I don't believe that because he's a man with many faults, and he is not done as much as I feel personally that he could have done for us.
But
and
when
she has a point.
when you consider all of that's against him, what more
well, yeah,
did you expect?
Every day bombarded. I understand that.
And not just bombarded, but undermined within his own administration.
Yes, he couldn't trust.
And it's not just
little wiser.
It's not just people that he hired too. It's the people that he couldn't fire.
Yes, political savvy would have helped. And even
it's not just political savvy though. I mean, it's the whole swamp is corrupt against him. His own executive branch. I told you guys about 98% of these employees, or at least their donations, went to Hillary in 2016. And these were employees that you can't just summarily fire a bunch of them.
Well, that's Washington, D.C. It's a cesspool of hell.
Right,
I mean,
yeah. And so he's the lone man standing for what's right in there. And then he has to hire people that are going to get approved by the establishment rhinos in the Senate. And so he doesn't have much leeway. I'm fairly happy with his presidency. There's some stuff I didn't agree with, but for the most part, he's solid. And in terms of being a real, genuine person and telling the truth, he's done it. So I don't agree with
I won't go
her.
that far. But anything on the left, and even close to the left, and the Marxist socialists that are taking over,
yeah,
I don't understand how people over 50%, or we don't even know how much, are on their side and don't see what's coming. How can they not see what's coming?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand. Oh, and I had another question about what do you think? I mean, like they're saying. No, I lost the question, but it was a good one. And about what they were talking about on JLP, how he had a video. Oh, no, it was about Georgia. I haven't heard y'all mention anything about Georgia, and they say if they take the Congress and one of the senators there, if they lose, we're gone. America's gone. And y'all haven't talked about those two evil people that one is running for. He's a real something else. I call him the devil from Georgia, down to Georgia. Raphael Warnock.
Oh, Warnock, yeah. Warnock is ridiculous.
And y'all should put those comments he's made all over the internet and in his so-called church. I call it the Church of the Devils. And he's Reverend Wright's friend. And Obama, one of his friends, supports him. And then the Islamic, even Sharia law is. Soros is supporting him. A lot of European leftist socialists are supporting him. And the other guy, the young, weenie-looking creature that is supposed to be the next either congressman or senator. Short black hair, those two are pure evil. Yeah. And if they win, and they're sending $30 million over there or more, and they're really going to try their best to screw Georgia. So I don't know.
I don't know either. President Trump is holding a big rally tomorrow to support the two Republican senators there. So we'll see what happens. I want Trump to win, and I guess if you're in Georgia, vote for sanity, I guess. But these people, only if they support Trump should we support them.
Oh yeah, but I mean they are Trump supporters. They're telling that. But if the other side tells them that they're Trump supporters, then they're gonna really sabotage them.
Right.
But the thing is, people all over the country should hear about it, so maybe they can help and pass the word, because y'all have such a big following of Christians and all. And there's a lot of good Christians in Georgia, but maybe y'all could help a little, because I think that you're a great cause for Trump and the White House, that it's going to make a difference to our country. So I don't know. Thanks a lot for what y'all do. That's the main reason I called. And about Ann Coulter, she is a little screwy, I guess.
Yeah.
But she can afford to be.
Did you get my email, Mary?
No,
I sent an email, maybe not yesterday, but the day before.
Oh my gosh! Did it come from your? Because I don't use Twitter, and because I would.
No, it was an email. Let me just see.
Yeah.
The Hake report sent. Yes, it was. My email was titled DLive donation messages. Because were you the one asking about DLive donations? Messages?
Yeah, I don't know how to use it, and I have that $8 balance, and I don't know how to use it. But I want it all to go in. I don't care about that.
Okay. Well.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
God bless y'all. Bye bye.
All right.
I'll look it up.
Okay, and then send me an email, thehakereport@gmail.com, so that I know that I have your correct email address.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Yeah, thank you. Take care. So, before I get to Art and Jonathan and Joe and Maze, let me tell you guys about this Michael Flynn situation. According to the liberal guy, Jonathan Turley, why would you be a male being liberal? I don't know. Isn't Jonathan Turley a liberal? I think of him as being that. He says the best case for a Flynn pardon may be the conduct of the court rather than the defendant. And I think that's true. He writes, he's opposed to Trump's pardons, for example, of Roger Stone and Joe Arpaio, because they're associates of President Trump. But everybody knows that the Roger Stone thing, the Joe Arpaio thing, the going after Trump thing was based in crazy, insane corruption. So I don't agree with him having any opposition to Trump's pardons of these guys. But he does support the pardon of Flynn. I have no qualms about that, because the attack on Trump is pure evil. But he says Flynn was targeted. This is directly from I think it's jonathanturley.com. Flynn was targeted due to his communications with Russian diplomats shortly before becoming the national security advisor. There is nothing untoward, unlawful, or even uncommon in such meetings weeks before a new administration. Nevertheless, former FBI Director James Comey, a hater of President Trump, a joke of a person, his wife and daughters participated in the Women's March. Sick, what a sicko. Decided to send in agents to interview Michael Flynn, General Flynn, that is, without the presence of the White House counsel. Comey later bragged that he probably wouldn't have gotten away with it in other administrations, but sent a couple of guys over to question Flynn. Former acting Attorney General Sally Yates, who's another piece of work, but she was even mad at this move and described Comey, I think she's liberal, right, as going rogue in the move. Comey himself reportedly told then President Barack Obama and Vice President Joe Biden that the FBI thought the meetings with the Russians was legit. So this guy, General Flynn, had a legit meeting with the Russians, but they still trying to interview him. In the interview, Flynn stated that he assumed the agents already had a transcript of the conversations, which they did, and the two FBI agents did not believe that Flynn intentionally lied to them about the details of the conversations. Which sounds to me like, okay, maybe he got something wrong, but he wasn't trying to lie. Did not intentionally lie to them. Third, the effort to criminally charge Flynn had fallen apart by the end of December of 2016. On January 4th, 2017, FBI's Washington field office issued a closing communication that said it was terminating Crossfire Razor, which I guess is the thing that they used the mission that they were going through to get at this Flynn guy, because it found no evidence of criminal conduct. They were prevented from closing the case by fired FBI Special Agent Peter Strzok. Peter Strzok was that piece of work he was girlfriends with Lisa Page, right? Weren't they texting each other and saying, oh, we have an insurance policy, Trump can't win? Peter Strzok, an FBI agent, who's like a ridiculous person, who expressed vehement opposition to Trump being elected as president, When the investigation collapsed, White House and FBI officials reportedly debated another possible way to charge Flynn, including the Logan Act, which is widely viewed as unconstitutional and has never been used to secure a single conviction against anyone. The Justice Department later charged Flynn, and after draining him of most of his money and threatening his son with prosecution, they secured a plea to a single count of lying to federal investigators, which those same investigators did not think that Flynn intentionally lied to them. Yes. And he says that this is Jonathan Turley writing, right? I'm reading what he's saying. This barely scratches the surface of the irregular and abusive handling of the Flynn case. While his lawyers made strong arguments in court, that alone could not justify a pardon from a president who has such a close and personal and professional relationship with Flynn. Then came Judge Sullivan. That's that black, ridiculous judge who said, "Arguably, sir, you sold out your country." And he tried to prevent illegals from being deported, and in some cases he succeeded. He's just a dumb liberal judge, 70-something years old, light-skinned black. This should have been a simple sentencing on a criminal count. After all, Flynn cooperated with federal prosecutors, and even uncooperative witnesses received only 30 days in prison on a similar charge. However, in this first sentencing hearing, Sullivan blew up the proceedings in a bizarre diatribe, using the flag in the court as a prop. And this is this Jonathan Turley guy saying he used the flag as a prop. Typical Democrat, right? And this guy is a Democrat. This black Colonel Sanders looking wannabe guy. He has a funny beard and soul patch. Gray or white. But Sullivan even suggested Flynn should have been charged with treason. And he falsely accused Flynn of being an unregistered agent of a foreign country while serving as the national security advisor who sold his country out. Talk about a piece of work, right? Corrupt judges, Trump derangement syndrome judges, hate, drive you nuts. And that's what this guy is, nuts. He's like ridiculous. He was ridiculous towards Flynn. Sullivan apologized for some of his comments, but Flynn waited on sentencing. There would be more sentencing hearings. Each time, Sullivan lashed out at the Trump administration and refused to issue a final order. So he's just dragging it out, dragging this guy. Never-ending case. The Justice Department filed to drop the prosecution entirely, yet Sullivan again refused and took the extraordinary step of inviting former Judge John Gleeson to argue against the dismissal of the case. As a judge, Gleeson was himself reversed for usurping the role of prosecutors, acting in a way that would turn the presumption of regularity on its head. Sullivan even suggested that he might charge Flynn himself with perjury. Sullivan's conduct led a D.C. panel to order him to dismiss the case in a scathing decision over his handling and the briefing of Gleeson. At the time, I wrote that Jonathan Turley wrote, that the panel should be reversed because Sullivan had not issued a final decision. Later, the D.C. Circuit reached the same conclusion and, without endorsing the conduct of Sullivan, sent the case back for final decision for Sullivan to do the right thing. Instead, in September, Sullivan refused to issue a final ruling and stated he still has questions about the case. Ridiculous. It's a ridiculous judge abusing his fake power. And he asked whether a Biden Justice Department might be able to reinstate the case. Crazy, huh? It left the troubling appearance that Sullivan was prosecutor shopping, since the prosecutors in the case wanted to drop the charges. He's like, you can't do that. And he was charged, this Flynn guy was charged with lying about something that was not even a crime. And the investigators said he didn't intentionally lie. It's crazy, huh? Prosecutors declared there is insufficient evidence for a charge, but the judge refuses to let the defendant out of his courtroom after years of delay. Sullivan is continuing to hold on to a case that prosecutors have sought to dismiss since May. And there was still no end in sight. So Trump issued the pardon. And by the way, the great Sidney Powell was humiliating the FBI and the Justice Department, exposing their corruption. She's been doing that a long time, and she did that in this case too. Crazy, huh? Sick judge. So now you know a little bit more about the Flynn case. James Comey, Sullivan, Trump derangement syndrome people, Peter Strzok. Sick people. Anyway, let me get to Art in Ohio. He wants to talk about, I guess, Earl. Art, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm all right. How you doing, Hake?
Fine. What's up?
All right, check this out. Well, I just want to thank the Chinese Communist Socialist government for funding this retarded slow field trip for the Democratic Party. And I just want to let you know who we going on the field trip, and we loading the bus up right now.
Interesting. Nice.
Oh, do you want to know where we going to?
Where are we going?
Well, we going to Disneyland. We got Joe Biden. He on there. Or whatnot. I had to change the diaper before we load him up on there. We're going to set him next to Earl and put Earl in a nice little Trump suit or whatnot. And the whole way down there, we're going to have to set them by each other. But the thing is, Biden keep thinking that we going to Yosemite Park or something. And I keep telling him, Biden, no, we going to Disneyland. He getting on my nerves. So then I said AOC and Hillary Clinton to buy each other at first, and then they got into a fight. Because Hillary Clinton keeps spilling hot sauce on AOC's paintings and stuff in the back seat. So I had to move AOC up to the front with Ilmar Omar and the other four horsemen.
Yeah.
And they up there with Lori Light Heavy Foot. They up there doing arts and crafts or whatnot.
Okay.
And did you know when we had to load up the bus, I had to turn Chuck Schumer and Adam Schiff around? Because these dummies must have thought we was going to a Catholic session or something at church or something. I said, man, we going to Disneyland. Y'all got these tight shirts all the way up to your neck and stuff, man. Y'all ain't going to be comfortable at no Disneyland riding on no rides looking like y'all going to church. So I had to turn them back around and send them in there to redress. Then you got Cuomo. Okay. Guess what Cuomo was doing before we was loading them up on the bus allegedly?
What?
Oh, I go in the room. He in there with his boxers on. You can't keep him off Pornhub and the internet, man.
Wow.
He stay on Pornhub 24/7. Long story short. Oh man, that's why you got to give him at least like an hour, man. He's something wrong with that, man. So
that's enough of that.
So long story. Huh?
I said that's enough of that.
Hey, so quick question: Did you see the little thing with Trump last night, where the reporter was trying to question him or whatnot? He said, "Man, you just a lightweight. Don't disrespect the president."
Wow, I did not. I heard something. I heard he put some reporter in their place, right? But I did not know that. That's nice. He said that?
Nah, yeah, he said, because the reporter, they always be trying to just over-talk him and trying to berate him, and it looks real bad on the Americans when you, as a lower authority, you don't have respect as the respect for the commander-in-chief, the president of the United States, and when you talk to him, that makes everybody else in these other countries look at America like we don't have no respect. You see what I'm saying? Or at least in my eyes,
I agree.
You don't have you wasn't raised right. You see what I'm saying? That goes and reflects back on your parenting, who raised you. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I agree with that.
And then I want to give a shout out to General Flynn, a great American patriot or whatnot, for staying strong or whatnot, while the liberals and your Democrats were trying to destroy him and crucify him. I want to give him a shout out and. It's a good thing what's going on with him, because I've been watching what was going on with him or whatnot too, and that's good that he's being exonerated or whatnot. And thank you for giving my little time. God bless you, Hake, and Trump 2020, and Trump ain't gonna concede because they cheated him, and we're gonna get that audit, and we're gonna get everything together because we don't believe the Democrats won California. We don't believe they won a lot of. There's been a lot of cheating going on. We smell it, and the American people, we own it, and we ain't. And Trump ain't no pushover. You can't go around thinking you're gonna beat and bully on everybody. Everybody ain't no punk. And I don't understand why people seem to don't understand that Trump's not one of them type of people. Just like I'm not. I'm not no pushover. You can't go around thinking you're just going to take advantage and do people how you want to do them and thinking ain't no consequences and repercussions. God bless you. God bless Trump. And we're going to keep up that good fight.
All right. Thank you, Art. Appreciate you, man. Very nice call. Well, especially the ending call. I didn't really understand the bus thing. But it was kind of funny. Sorry about the... Never mind. The Cuomo part I didn't like. But thank you, Art. Silosifer with the diamond. Thank you, man. And thank you for the gifted subscriptions. Congrats to Based AF, Based America First, Independence, Agenda 69, Mutiny on the Ark, Rondell Cat. Yeah, Rondell Cat. And thank you to Hillary for the lemon. Jordanos with the diamond says Earl will have a stroke on your show or JLP's one day. Don't say that. Cancel those words, Jordanos. She says, people who take Earl seriously got problems. Interesting. Yeah, interesting point. Thank you, Jordanos. With the diamond, another diamond. Mo Better Stand Up with the diamond says, Earl on disability. Detroit Roddy got his behind. He's suggesting that he's a dog catcher or a mailman or something. But thank you, Mo Better. I don't know if that's true. Fan of the Ladies gave a diamond, says, Earl, don't discriminate? Ask him if he would date a man. Interesting question from Fan of the Ladies. I think he does discriminate. Mo Better Stand Up with the diamond says, never ban. Banning speech is so Jewish, he says. Mo Better Stand Up says, with the diamond, diamonds and Asmodors bless us with Texas presence. Ragnar0321 with a diamond. Buy Mel Gibson a beer. Learn about a certain tribe. Interesting. Ludwig von Neon says, Coney, or Comey. Yeah, Comey. Where's the pink, the kitty cat hats that the females wore at the Women's March? Disgusting Women's March. That's what he says. Thank you, guys. Appreciate the support. Let me get to Jonathan, a first-time caller in California, before I get to Joe and the Maze, and we'll see what happens. Jonathan, how are you doing?
All right. How you doing, Hake?
Fine, thank you. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, it's good to hear from you, too, man. I'm excited to talk to you. I've been trying to get on the phone with you for forever.
Right on.
Right. I was calling, man, I'm going to make a long story short. I was trying to call and give a testimony about relationships, and I met this girl online, and I'm just trying to give a message out to the guys that's out there trying to find their love.
Wait, you met a girl online?
Beta.
Yeah. You were trying to call Jesse's show?
Well, not really, but I just wanted to
Why
hear
weren't
your
you trying to
opinion
call
about it.
Jesse's show?
I tried to call him, but it's hard to get in contact with him.
You can. How old are you, by the way? Jonathan, how old are you?
32. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah. There you are. 32.
Yeah.
But
I'm 32.
You can schedule private one-on-one counseling with Jesse. You don't have to wait on hold necessarily, or try to get in to lines that are full. You can call Bond.
Okay.
You can call Bond and schedule private one-on-one counseling by phone or by Skype or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to get a message out to the guys out there. Just wait. Let God bring the girl to you, or the lady to you, because if you go out there and try to do it yourself, it's not going to work. Because I just got out of a so-called relationship over the internet. It wasn't like I bought her off the internet or nothing like that. As
Right.
Jesse put it, it's just I commented on one of her Facebook posts, and we started to talk. We started to talk through Facebook Messenger. It was going all great. She was the girl of my dreams and all this other crap.
Oh man.
Yeah, and we was talking for about 6 months, and I was being strong with her, but eventually I got weak with her, man. We ended up just doing a whole bunch of stuff on the phone I'm not going to say. And, you know, I started to cater to her feelings. And basically she became my God, even over the phone. And
Wow.
guess where she was at? Guess where she was located at?
Where?
North Carolina. I'm in California, man. She's all the way in North Carolina.
Were you aware of this?
Was I aware that she was becoming my God?
No, were you aware that she was in North Carolina the whole time?
Yeah, I knew that she was in North Carolina.
But it didn't really matter even then.
Right, exactly. So we were trying to get serious. We were talking about getting married, man. I was just getting real weak with her, man. And it's true what you guys say about girls will hate you for that weakness because we just stopped talking 3 days ago. She hated me for my weakness.
Right.
And she didn't understand because the conversation started to get dull. We were real quiet on the phone and stuff like that. She said, I sense a change because I started to see it too because long story short, I checked her on the stuff that we was doing on the phone. We was doing a whole bunch of just R-rated stuff.
Yeah.
And I checked her. I said, look, man, I've been trying to go the other way, and we can't be doing this. If we want to be together, stuff like that, we're going to have to slow down on this rated R stuff and just be cool, you know. And she didn't like that.
Wow.
And I told her that we were talking too much. She didn't like that. So once she couldn't control me anymore, that's when she snapped out of it, and she said, you know what, I'm done.
Nice.
She didn't want to deal with me anymore.
You're free.
And I said, cool.
Yeah, that's perfect.
It feels good to be free.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just letting you guys know out there, just wait, man. It takes a lot of patience, but just wait. God will bring her to you, but you can't go find her on your own because it's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's not.
People get excited, and it's crazy. Yep.
Yeah, they get real excited, especially you meet that girl. Hey, let me say something else. Watch out for the girls that's really nice. The ones that's supposed to have all these morals.
Right.
And stuff. It's the one I was doing. They are snakes too.
Yeah.
They are freaking snakes, man. You have to be careful because they will bite you in the end.
Yeah. I appreciate it, Jonathan. Great story. Good to hear from you.
No problem, man.
All right. And if you're ever in the LA area, make sure you join our men's forum. I think our men's forum is this next Thursday. Is what?
Yeah.
Isn't that the 3rd of December or something like that? I think we normally have our men's forum, so we'll call ahead to make sure that it's happening. But
yeah, okay, because I'll try to bring my uncle.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll try to bring my uncle and stuff because right now I take care of him. I'm a caregiver. My grandmother died and all this other stuff. He was staying with her, so I'm the only one that volunteered to take care of him. So I'm gonna bring him down. That'll be a good early birthday present because I turn 32 on the 12th of next month.
Okay. Wow.
Yes.
Well,
yeah,
call ahead. Make sure you check with Bond or check our website because we'll be putting up the announcement on whether it's happening or not because normally it's happening first Thursday, but every now and then it's not. So just double check before you make any plans. But appreciate it, Jonathan.
Hey.
Thank you,
All
man.
right, no problem.
All
Take
right.
it easy.
You too.
Peace.
Take care. Interesting. What a mess. Let me get to Joe in Phoenix, Arizona. Joe, how are you doing?
Hi, James.
Hey.
Boy, that caller Mary is exactly what's wrong with America and why this pandemic keeps going on.
Because she doesn't wear a mask?
It's not. Wearing a mask is not about fear. It's about basic understanding of science and how the virus is transmitted.
But if she's not, I don't know. I don't think it's as big of a deal as what everybody's pretending, this mask thing.
James,
I think it helps. I think it can help. I'm not a doctor, but doctors are liberals.
Not every doctor's a liberal.
Most of them are liberals.
That's an opinion, not a fact, James.
It's a fact. That's a question of fact.
Again, science does not care about politics.
I know, but politics cares about science, and they manipulate so-called science. Oh, yeah, it does. Science is so-called very politicized.
Cannot survive unless it finds a new host.
People who will wear their masks.
Putting a barrier between you and the virus helps. It's just common sense, basic science.
I'm sure it helps a little, but those masks get dirty. They're not any use after a couple of days. There's all kinds of other stuff that it's bringing in, and there's this Nazism with regard to the masks wearing stuff. And you people,
basic science.
No, you guys get all.
Virus makes sense, James.
Okay, I'm not saying you shouldn't wear a mask. You should wear a mask if you're supposed to wear a mask in certain places, enclosed spaces. Like if you're getting on a train with a bunch of strangers. Okay,
Yes,
wear the
no one's
mask.
saying wear a mask in your house or something. I'm saying you're going to be around other people. It's just common freaking sense, basic science.
I know, but you guys get all self-righteous and judgmental over it. Don't you guys know that anger is bad for your health? That's worse for your health than not wearing a mask.
Nobody's getting angry about it. I'm saying
People are getting angry. You might not be.
Who-
People are getting self-righteous and angry and judgmental towards other people just because they don't agree with what they're doing.
I'm not going to agree on that. So the other caller you had was who was somewhat excusing the Nazis in 1930 Germany.
Say that again?
Germany was your other caller who
Killian.
talked about the Jew. Yeah, Killian.
Yeah.
Germany was in terrible economic times because of the Treaty of Versailles coming out of World War I. Germany's economy was devastated and wrecked. And they needed Hitler needed a scapegoat, someone to blame. So he chose the Jews because the stereotype that Jewish people were good at business and were somehow controlling and keeping the Germans down, which was totally false.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about any of the history stuff, really. It's hard to know what the truth is with all that stuff. But, yeah, I've heard that they were scapegoated.
Well documented.
I don't know that they were entirely wrong in every criticism of the Jewish people because there was a whole lot of corruption amongst people back then. There was this homosexual guy who became a Nazi hunter, but he was homosexual. It's like people have to check themselves.
Oh, brother, you're a total spin master. You learn well from Jeffrey, I tell you.
What do you mean spin master? I'm just telling you that
There's nothing good about Nazis, James.
I
Nothing.
didn't say there was anything good about them. But you're saying that it's totally false what they were saying about Jewish people. But
Yes.
But I don't know that.
People cannot control an entire country, James. It's not possible.
I know, but the point is there's a whole lot of subversion going on today. There's a whole lot of subversion going on today, and people are seeing that, and they're resenting it, and they're starting to...
There's only 2 million Jewish folks in the whole country. What are you talking about? How
What?
Can 2 million, how can only a handful of Jewish folk control 40 million, or not, 300 million people? It's ridiculous.
I'm not the one saying that. But I'm telling you that there's a whole lot of subversion going on in the country, and many of the Jewish liberals are participating in it. Many of the Jewish conservatives don't even really support the people who are standing for what's right, like Trump. And so these people are seeing that, and they're getting mad about it.
Ridiculous also, James.
It's not ridiculous. There's a whole lot of intellectuals.
Totally ridiculous.
No, there's a whole lot of intellectuals who won't support Trump, even though they call themselves conservatives. Matt Walsh, he's not Jewish. He's so-called Christian.
Doesn't deserve any support.
What?
Trump doesn't deserve any support.
You're talking like a Nazi.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I'm just stating
You're
my
talking like a
opinion
Nazi communist.
based on facts.
No, it's not facts. It's you're beside yourself. Nobody who hates Trump is logical.
Master. You're the spin master. You
What
really
spin? What spin? You're the one saying, "Oh, Trump. There's nothing to support about Trump." What?
are. Right.
That's ridiculous.
The economy is devastated.
That's not
He didn't
Trump's
build-
doing.
he didn't build the
The Trump
wall.
was doing the economy was doing quite well thanks to Trump. He got rid of a bunch
No,
of
Trump
regulations.
did nothing. That was
See,
all
you're
the
lying
Federal
again.
Reserve.
You're
All-
lying again.
It was all of that. James, you don't even understand the Feds. You can't even talk about it intelligently.
I don't have to talk about it intelligently. He got rid of a whole bunch of regulations that freed up
You
businesses
make
to do
claims
well.
that are just simply not true about Trump. Trump did nothing to improve the economy. Absolutely nothing. The economy was already recovering before you even came into office.
Whatever you say, Joe. Obama
That's not
lover.
what I say.
Obama lover.
It's what, fact lover, not Obama lover.
No,
Fact
you're an
lover.
Obama lover. You're not you don't love the
Fact
truth.
lover. Speaking of Obama, why do you continue to lie about his record on abortion? Abortions declined during his 8 years.
I
Declined.
didn't say they didn't.
That is a fact.
I didn't say they didn't. I said he supports abortion.
He doesn't support abortion.
He does support abortion.
He's on record. You can see this. He says he wanted to see fewer abortions and adoptions and faster an increase, and abortions decline.
That's lip service. He supports abortion. That's all lip service. He supports abortion. He even supported the morning. Didn't he support like all this morning after pill and all that stuff with Obamacare? No. Give me a break. All that lip service stuff. You fall for phony people.
Those are facts, James. It's not lip service.
It's lip service. Him saying, "Oh, I want abortions to decrease," and just because abortions decreased under him, doesn't mean that he hated abortion or didn't support abortion. He supported abortion.
So
he expanded funding for abortion overseas. One of the first. Hush. Because he supports all manner of evil, and abortion is not the only evil. You replace one evil for another, it doesn't matter. They were handing out condoms at churches, these types of people, these scum of the earth people.
That was happening well before Obama.
I know, same ilk. But one of the first things that Obama did in office was to reverse what was it called? The Mexico City policy that funded abortions overseas, foreign abortions.
James, you're cherry picking.
It's not cherry picking. It's one of the first things he did.
What you're talking about is the funding that was for multiple medical issues,
including abortion.
And
it's specifically because it's specifically
fund for other things that were important. That's called politics.
It's specifically because of abortion that I don't know if it was Reagan, but Bush and Trump.
Declined during his administration.
Bush and Trump.
You want to overlook the facts.
Bush and Trump both overturned that policy because they didn't want to be funding abortions.
James, and
Obama supported abortion. No, it's not the law of the land. It's not a law. Roe v. Wade is a decision based on judges who didn't even know if a baby was a baby in the womb. It's not a law.
So then Trump supports abortion then.
Whatever, Joe. He got rid of that policy.
This is illegal, right?
He got rid of that policy, Joe. You're being a sleazy snake. You're being a sleazy snake, Joe.
Using your logic.
No, you're not logical. You're being a sleazy snake.
Yeah, you're right. You're not.
All right. Anyway, nice talking with you.
Yeah.
How was your Thanksgiving?
It was excellent, actually. How was yours?
It was nice. Thank you. Anyway, I got to run.
All right.
Take care.
Night. Bye.
Bye. Ask him why. Euro-Canadian. Sorry, I didn't see your diamond. He says, ask him why Judea declared war on Germany in 1933. I'm not familiar with all that stuff. Mobetta Stand-Up says, globalists deployed a neo form of brown shirts. Yeah, very true. Antifa, Black Lives Matter, Google, Twitter, Facebook, and many other things. Activist prosecutors who selectively prosecute only against conservatives and not liberals, only against the Unite the Right people and not against Black Lives Matter, which were far more destructive. Mobetta Stand-Up gave a diamond and said, against all free nations in 2020. Globalists deployed that neo form of brown shirts against all free nations in 2020. Interesting. Let me get to Maze in Dayton, Ohio. Wants to talk about wearing masks. Maze, how are you?
Yes, I'm just fine, James. How are you today?
Fine. Why are you talking like that?
Oh, I was just messing with you.
Okay.
Oh, why do doctors wear masks when they do surgery?
To avoid spitting.
Really? That's what you think they wear them for? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, these mask people that's afraid of masks, and
they're not afraid of. I don't know anybody who's afraid of masks.
Well, they don't want to wear a mask.
All
and
right.
don't wear it properly. I'm wondering what's wrong with them.
Do you wear a mask?
Yes, I do.
What's wrong with you?
Nothing.
I beg to differ.
And some people wear masks like when you have you have the flu, and you got family in the house, and you put your mask on so you won't be catching what they have. And the mask is nothing new. I don't know what's wrong with these people that think the mask is something new.
Nobody said it's anything new, but it is new.
Like it's new.
But it is new in America, where it's mandated to wear a mask by a bunch of liberals who don't care about life.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
What
Are you aware of that?
That's what y'all think.
No,
and
it's a fact. Spanish flu. Were people wearing masks during the Spanish flu?
Yes, they were.
I don't know. Were you there?
No, you don't know. Well, they have pictures.
All right.
Unless somebody came up with one and just stuck it out there to fool people and put a mask on them. That could have happened, too. Well, then this bus that Art is going to be riding, I hope he's not driving because I hope let's say if he lost his GPS and couldn't find his way, he wouldn't know how to read a road map. The bus is going to be called that he's driving. It's going to be an R. You know, when you hear the R people.
Joel says about the mask thing, going back to the mask thing, in America, it's not normal to wear a mask like they do in China.
He's like they do in China. American.
We don't
catch around every American in this country.
He says, Joel says, and he's an expert on the matter. He says we don't catch stuff like them Chinese people do.
Oh, we don't catch viruses. We don't catch the flu. We don't have the flu. And a lot of people wear masks because they have allergies.
He says, hey, Maze, holy people don't get sick. We used to be the Holy Land.
Holy what? What kind of holy hell raisers is supposed to be holy? But anyway, and to get to this point about 45,
America hater.
Didn't Trump fire Flynn too? Said he lied.
Supposedly he so-called lied to. Hold on. Supposedly he so-called lied to Mike Pence. I don't know.
Oh, so he said he was a liar. Then you're gonna turn around and get in an argument with people saying that he's not a liar.
Trump is not the one endlessly persecuting General Flynn.
But I have a remedy for those that
Trump may have listened to bad advice. I don't know. Hey, Maze.
Okay.
Hey, Maze.
Excuse.
Are you really going to pretend that you know more than Jonathan Turley about the Flynn case?
Please,
you think Flynn? Hey, Maze. Do you think Flynn was justifiably persecuted by James Comey, that other guy Peter Strzok, and this scum of the earth black Judge Sullivan?
And this
Emmett Sullivan?
No.
No, so he was not. He was not justifiably prosecuted, right?
And come to the lady that still got rhythm right on her mind and going over to Georgia. I don't think people that's not even in those states having the business to be talking about the politics that going. And Lindsey Graham was over there. He shouldn't have even been over there saying, trying to tell them how to do the vote. So I'm
well, there's a whole lot of blind people.
Can I finish?
No,
I'm saying to myself.
No, but you're talking about the Georgia situation. She's talking about.
I'm talking about all of the ones where the president for 45 won. Why don't they just go and do the votes over there since he can explain how the machine's supposed to work and all of this? Why don't they just go check the places where he won?
Maze.
But I have a remedy for it. What?
There are people there's 2 senators who are running they're going to face a runoff in Georgia. And I don't know if they're decent people. I hope so. Trump is rallying for them. And we should urge Georgia to support what's right for America and what's right for Georgia and what's right, period.
He also rallied for Roy Moore, and what happened to him?
Roy Moore got railroaded by the fake news media.
You're right. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But anyway, James, I have a remedy for those.
Judge Roy Moore has been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show a couple of times. Did you know that?
Yes, I do know that.
Yeah.
And I know a whole lot more. I know a lot more stuff about besides him talking to Jesse Lee Peterson. But I
he was Chief Justice.
uninformed.
Roy Moore was Chief Justice of the Alabama Supreme Court. And he stood for what was right with regard to same-sex marriage, which is a fake thing. And he stood for what was right with regard to the 10 Commandments. A decent man.
Right. Just because he had the 10 Commandments, you think he was a decent man. But James, I have a remedy for
because he stands for what's right. That's what makes him decent.
For this election, and these people that's all
what's your so-called remedy?
Why don't we have like Giuliani outside the courtroom doing his court without being on the oath? Put your president on the oath and all of those evidence he got. And then you'll know he's for real, and he really wants to say something happened on the oath. And if he's lying about it, he'll go right on to jail along with his lawyer for 10 years.
What you're talking about?
What do you think?
Who are you talking about? Rudy Giuliani?
No. I said Giuliani outside the court with all this mess.
Uh-huh.
He's not sitting inside the courtroom swearing under oath.
Oh, so you're pretending. So you're pretending. No. Hold on, Mace. Let me get this straight. You're pretending that those hundreds of witnesses. Sworn affidavits are all lying, and so Giuliani should go to jail if he goes into
that's not what
the court thing because because you're pretending that he's not telling the truth, which everybody knows that he is telling the truth.
the ones that ill and uninformed believe that. But I'm saying, why don't he go on the oath and do these things? Why
We're opening the treasure chest to everybody.
He should go inside the courtroom along
Maze,
with 45.
Hey, Maze.
What?
Are you concerned that this election was wide open to fraud and abuse?
All of them are. So that's nothing new.
No, let me ask you this question. Are you concerned that this election was wide open to fraud and abuse more so than ever?
No. It's just like all the other ones.
Nope, it's not.
There's nothing
That's
new.
false. You're lying.
So
you know why you're lying, Maze? You ever
What?
heard of mass mail-in ballots being sent out to people unsolicited? That happened. Did you know that?
This is what.
Did you know
so
that?
Why don't? That's like I
Did
said.
you
Why
know
don't
that?
they take it to the court?
Maze, did you know that?
No, I don't. I know a lot of ballots.
Wow, so ignorant. Why are you so ignorant, Maze?
I know a lot about it. I have to spend time with ignorant people. I have to act like I'm ignorant too along with them so they can come to their sense. Is that good enough? But as I was saying, James, and that would help you all too. If he went on swore on the oath that what he's bringing to the people like you all is true, wouldn't they help?
Maze, you're being silly.
Don't you think it would help? I'm being for real.
No, you're not being
do
for
you
real.
think that would help?
Nothing
that
is
would
for
help
real
you all?
about you, Maze.
That's like a snake oil and going around trying to sell you some snake oil, knowing it's not worth nothing, but you're on the outside trying to sell it to the people. And they never believe in it.
Sworn affidavits, Maze, are evidence. That's witness
That's
testimony.
Right. So why don't they go on?
And they have sworn affidavits already, Maze.
Is it like the last lady they lied?
Maze,
that was a lie.
Maze. You're just trying to undermine stuff that's obviously true.
I'm not undermining. I'm trying to get you to use your brain and think.
No.
Like,
No,
and
you're not a thinker.
Stop using When you hear them, those people saying you guys start to get suspicious and wonder like,
Are you going to apologize?
That's one.
Are you going to apologize to
No,
Earl?
I'm not apologizing. I apologize to who?
Earl.
What am I going to apologize to Earl for?
Because you're making fun of him for saying
Earl, I'm not saying I'm saying Art.
Oh, Art.
That's what I'm not talking about Earl. You got Earl on your mind. Earl knows what he's doing.
Because you said
You said They talk about Earl. They talk about Earl James, but they would not. They will not talk to Earl and challenge him. That's the problem. They don't know nothing.
I have a super chat for you, Maze. I have a super chat for you.
What is that?
Mo Betta Stand Up gave a diamond and said, Maze, be humble, sit down, be humble.
Be truthful. That's what I'm saying. I just gave y'all a reason, and
you
then
don't
y'all
know
have
anything
something
about
to believe
truth.
in.
You're trying to accuse us of you're trying to accuse Rudy Giuliani of lying. You don't even know what you're talking about.
That's not the line. That's why don't he go inside the courtroom? Not outside the building. Anything outside the building
he can
don't
say
count.
it wherever he wants. He's presenting sworn evidence.
But y'all believe in it. Presenting them to who?
Everybody knows that voter fraud is quite common, especially from blacks who have no shame.
Really?
And then they cry racism.
Don't have no shame. That's how you got where you are.
And
that's why you don't have any back. That's why you want to represent everybody else.
Hold on, Maze.
What?
And then they cry. And then they cry racism when you say, "Hold on, wait a minute. What's this here? Oh, you're racist. You're only targeting Detroit."
That's right. That's what I'm saying. The place you talk. Why don't you go back to the place and say, I want to be fair. Let's check the places I want to and make sure that these things are going all right. But where you run is not important. But where everybody else wants
because everybody knows, Maze. Everybody knows, Maze, that Democrats and blacks don't mind cheating.
But what I want you to do,
lying.
is put him on the oath so y'all can get the truth and y'all can see if it's true or not. And if he's lying, he'll just do just like Clint. Well, he's already been impeached, so he can't get like Clint because he's been there. So if he's telling a lie, he'll just go to jail like his lawyer for 10 years. Because he lied.
Should you go to jail since you lie, Maze?
If I was in court and I lied, I probably would. In front of a judge. That's one time you're trying to evade that. That's the real deal. That's what's really happening. And if he's not doing that, he's suspect.
How was your Thanksgiving?
Karen, what?
How was your Thanksgiving?
I don't do Thanksgiving. Didn't I tell you I don't celebrate holidays?
Wow, anti-American.
That's right. My son just his birthday happened to be on Thanksgiving.
She said that's right.
But I didn't celebrate it.
You didn't celebrate your son's birthday?
I only celebrate birthdays. Yeah, people that are born on
Are
Thanksgiving,
you Jehovah's
they have a birthday
Witness?
every so many years.
Are you Jehovah's
no, I'm
Witness?
not.
Are you Mormon?
No. Well, I got to be the things that I want to participate in and don't.
What are you?
I'm a human that can think and don't let everybody leave me. And tell Mary that Reverend Wright had nothing to do with that election that's going over in Georgia. She's all lost. Reverend Wright.
She said Warnock. She corrected her Maze.
She's sick in the head. That's what's wrong with her. What?
She corrected herself and said,
"Shh, all that stuff in the name of the heathen." Tell her to get like.
She said Warnock. She corrected herself and said Raphael Warnock.
Well, whoever she said, she complained about something that had nothing to do with her.
Warnock.
Yeah, always in somebody else's business.
We don't have anything to do with you. You're complaining about us.
I'm not trying to tell nobody who to vote for.
Yeah, you are.
I didn't even tell you not to vote for who you voted for. I should stand by your man. That's what you're doing.
Have any sense.
But I gave you a solution for you to believe something. Maybe God's gonna send it out there so you can see it. Go on and swear on the oath in His name.
Nice talking with you, Maze.
And let y'all see it, and then y'all
Happy
sit down
Thanksgiving, Maze.
In January, it's
Happy
over.
Thanksgiving, Maze.
Regardless if y'all like it or not.
Have a good one.
Have a good day.
What a mess. Anyway. Oh, man. All right. Jacinda Ardern, to New Zealand's shame, is pushing that climate change stuff. She's declaring climate change not an emergency. It's ridiculous. President Trump declared an emergency of the immigration situation, which it actually is. Everybody knows it and can see it. But Jacinda Ardern, with a 40-year-old woman who's living, I mentioned it at the end of Hake News at the end of hour 2 today. Check that out. I will be putting that out. TheHakeReport.com for my stuff. No Fallen State today. RebuildingTheMan.com/church for Church with Jesse Lee Peterson this Sunday. You can catch it live online, YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, DLive, even Twitch, and maybe something else. Of course, the JLP Live player. Church with Jesse Lee Peterson, and we'll be back next week. Have a nice rest of your Thanksgiving weekend, and happy Black Friday. Don't support businesses that don't support you. Although in some cases you don't have a choice. All right, guys, take care.